Hey guys, Assalamu alaikum. In this video, I will be going over some of my favorite passages from Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics, while offering some commentary alongside them. This will serve those who might have wanted to give it a read, but weren't sure if it was worth the time. This is the third part of a series in which I go over this specific work, to provide you with some of the knowledge and understanding contained therein, so that you may benefit from its contents without having to read it yourselves. There's a link in the description box below to the rest of the playlist. Let's begin. For the man who is truly good and wise, we think, bears all the chances of life, becomingly, and always makes the best of circumstances. As a good general makes the best military use of the army at his command, and a good shoemaker makes the best shoes out of the hides that are given him, and so with all other craftsmen. As Aristotle suggests, the good and wise do not lament the conditions they find themselves in. Rather, they make the best use of whatever it is that is within their reach. A character trait that is rarely seen today, as more often than not, people possess an insatiable desire for that which they do not possess, which causes them, in turn, to take what is within their reach for granted. This isn't the sort of behavior that is only applicable to material possessions. It is also applicable to our relationships with others, be it friend or significant other. Those that behave as such are waiting for an opportune moment to replace such people. Perhaps they are waiting for a more attractive partner to commit to, and instead just remain in the current relationship they are in to avoid loneliness. Perhaps they are waiting for potential friendships that would be of a greater utility, and therefore are only friends with the current people they know as mere placeholders. This could also be applicable to one's occupation, where one is currently working and wait for a better opportunity to manifest itself. In all these situations, the individual takes for granted what is already within reach and places their bets on a potential opportunity that might never come. If they never come across such an opportunity, then they would have missed the countless opportunities they've had to improve the things that were within their reach, be it their occupation or relationships with others. Perhaps their current partner is not as attractive as they'd want them to be. Maybe instead of waiting for a potential replacement, they could invest effort into this person. They could, perhaps, encourage them to live a healthier lifestyle, or better yet, attend the gym and build some muscle mass or tone out their body. Maybe their friends are not as successful as they'd want them to be. Or perhaps their friends have character flaws that they find distasteful. Instead of waiting for a potential replacement, which is certainly not guaranteed, they ought to invest some effort into their friends by providing encouragement and wise counsel so that they might become more successful or improve their character. Following this, they could obtain what they want by simply improving the things they already possess, and this is applicable to all the cases mentioned. It's the easy way out to just wait for fate to improve one's life situation. It is a form of self delusion and a sign that you have unconsciously given up. Act upon the things that are within reach and seek to improve them. It is well said, then, that it is by doing just acts that the just man is produced, and by doing temperate acts, the temperate man. Without doing these, no one would have even a prospect of becoming good. But most people do not do these, but take refuge in theory and think they are being philosophers, and will become good in this way, behaving somewhat like patients who listen attentively to their doctors, but do none of the things they are ordered to do, as the latter will not be made well in body by such a course of treatment, the former will not be made well in soul by such a course of philosophy. One ought to act in a manner that is in accordance with virtue, A mode of living that is passive and neglectful in respects to one's duties towards his or her collective is contrary to virtue. For many aspects of virtue deal with proper conduct in respects to others. Despite this, many limit their interactions with others in this sense, neglecting their duties to their neighbor, nation, or religious collective. Instead, they give themselves the impression that they are virtuous by the philosophical theorizing they engage in, or by memorizing passages that contain teachings of wisdom. But all of that is meaningless if it is not acted upon. Greater is he who needs to but hear such teachings once, in order to change for the better. For this man can be called wise, as he acts in accordance to what he has judged to be right. But he who spends his time theorizing or memorizing and fails to embody the principles that those teachings represent is referred to as the wise fool. For he knows the proper conduct that is expected of him, yet fails to act upon this knowledge, and he is found blameworthy for his failure. He is worse than the fool, for the fool acts in ignorance, thinking that he is acting in accordance with the proper conduct that is expected of him. The fool does not voluntarily act in a way that is contrary to virtue. On the other hand, the wise fool does voluntarily act in a way that is contrary to virtue. Therefore, the learned man has a duty to act in accordance with what he has learned, and if he fails to do so, he is found blameworthy. Now, the fool is found blameworthy depending on the circumstances he finds himself in. Details about his or her age and quality of education are some of the factors to take into account, though these factors allows one to avoid blame only to a certain extent. For the fool is blameworthy on a different account than the wise fool. He is held accountable to the extent that his ignorance is a result of his neglecting to properly educate himself. In this case, the ignorance is not justified or understandable, as it is the result of an individual's failure to fulfill his duties towards himself in respects to the proper development of his or her sense of judgment. This goes back to what was discussed in part 1 of this series. That one who seeks to be good must also possess the appropriate knowledge and understanding that would enable him to be so. Thus, any religion that genuinely seeks to have its followers act in a way that would be beneficial to themselves and others would expect that they cultivate this knowledge and understanding, making such pursuits a religious duty, similarly to what is expected of Muslims in Islam. The Messenger of Allah said, "Whoever takes a path upon which to obtain knowledge, Allah makes the path to paradise easy for him." I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, leave a comment, and let me know what you think. I'd be interested to read through your opinions. Thanks for watching, and see you guys next time.